Well, no doubt about it, Manchester City, pretty much the hottest team in Europe and running into form at exactly the right time as well. Still chasing 4 competitions, chasing what would be an unprecedented quadruple. The question is, gentlemen, can they do it? It is hard, isn't it? It is beyond the realm of what is considered to be normally possible. Can they do it?
No.
No. Okay, goodbye.
So it's 2 no's. All right, we'll see you later. But
I think because the way you started there would tell you why. You know what I mean? It's like, I think, they have a chance to win every competition. Of course they do. They've got the squad to do it, but they only have to have a hiccup like they had at Anfield last year in the Champions League and they're out. They had a poor first half in Schalke. Against Schalke by their standards, in terms of the mistakes they made, and then they had the sending off and needless things like that. Against a better side, you're probably not going to come back from it. So there's little things in there that will throw themselves out there when you're not expecting. So I don't think so.
There's a reason nobody's ever done it. I mean,
it's hard.
Well, there are so many things that have to go the right way for you. You know. Of all the tournaments to win, or all the titles, for a team like City, probably winning the domestic league is the easiest one because it's 38 games. You can get away with making mistakes on any given day and make up for it in the weeks coming up. The other 3 are cup competitions: the Carabao, the FA Cup, and of course the Champions League after the group stages is a knockout. So when it comes to cup games, anything can happen. You can lose because of poor form, refereeing decisions, players are just tired. I mean, there are so many things that can go wrong in a cup tournament, and that's why it's so difficult to do.
We just saw their road ahead, the next 5 games, the Carabao Cup final.
So they've got a chance to get one in the bag at the weekend.
Yeah.
And, and there's no guarantee, but it looks like they're hot favourites. I would say it could be a 3. I mean, bearing in mind Tottenham could win this weekend when City are not playing, and all of a sudden we kind of might have 3 in the shuffle for the title because they've been racking up some wins recently, Tottenham. So that's going to go down to the wire between at least 2 teams, maybe 3 teams, and then you're talking about the draw in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Is
the Champions League going to be the hardest one for them to win?
I think if you said to City fans, and I think they would take 2. City fans will tell, if you listen to what they've said over the years, they're not bothered about the Champions League, but the owners are.
Yeah.
And the manager is.
Oh, yeah.
Because he won it at Barcelona, clearly, on more than one occasion, I believe, and he didn't win it at Bayern Munich. Came close a couple of times and then he got bad results. And so he keeps talking about long-term project at City, and he's given time there, which he is and he has been, but that's for him to deliver the Champions League. No matter what the supporters say, it's what the owner wants. And so he's got every chance, I think, of a league title and a Champions League. When you're chucking another 2 in, that's difficult.
Yeah. And again, that because you're in every tournament, that's more games. You're talking about 38 league games. To win the Champions League, it's 13. 6 to win the Carabao, another 6 or 7 to win it. So you're talking about 70 games.
Not much margin for
error. There's not much margin for error, and that means that does Pep pick the best side for the Carabao Cup final, for the FA Cup final? Because clearly the Champions League and the Premier League are the most important. So is that where they slip up because he doesn't play his best players?
Well, internally at least, any talk of this quadruple is being scoffed at within the City ranks. Kevin De Bruyne coming out and saying, the goal is not to win 4 trophies, the goal is to win every game, then we progress, we're very happy, but to set standards to win all 4, that's almost impossible.
He does realise if you win every game, he wins the 4 titles.
Well, that would lead to the 4 titles. Maybe he didn't do the math on that, but
but
he does say it's almost impossible.
It is.
But he's right. We shouldn't have got him on this segment. Would have ended this in 5 seconds. Is it possible? It's impossible. Goodbye.
But that's the message to the
You
world.
always think when you step on the field, you're going to win. But there are outside things that I've mentioned before, like refereeing decisions or just loss of form, or your legs are tired that day and it affects everybody. You've had a bad week of training. There are so many things that can go wrong. That's why it's so difficult, and that's why it's never been done before.
He'll know better than me because he's been in that Liverpool. Players don't talk about that.
3 times.
Players don't talk about that. In my time at Celtic, when they hadn't won the league for 10 years, because Rangers were very strong, And we won the double that year in 97, 98, and we lost in the semi-final of the Scottish Cup to Rangers, but nobody in the dressing room ever at any point mentioned a treble, right? Nobody. Right. We actually won, so we won the League Cup and the title, but I don't remember anybody talking about, oh, we could win the treble. It's just, when you're in that competition, you try to win that competition.
But they couldn't really have a better man at the helm, could they, in Pep Guardiola, if they're going to achieve this, even though he's been downplaying it too. You look at his success as a manager.
Are we the only ones up playing this?
You know, but then again, maybe that goes against him. The fact that he is the way he is. You know, he says he's a guy that every single time, every single day they're in training, he's after them. He keeps them on the toes. Every Saturday you see him, he's constantly complaining if something goes wrong. That can catch up with you when you've got so many games, you've got such a long season. So, yes, of course, his CV is as good as anybody in the world, but is that, again, something that might suck a little bit of the energy out of them because of the way he is? Yeah. You just never know.
He knows what it takes, Greg. He won 6 trophies in a calendar year with Barcelona.
Yeah.
First year.
You know, I don't recognise calendar years. It's like, you know, it's one of those things.
It wasn't an official quadruple, so, yeah.
You know, but barring a spate of injuries, and if they do have everybody fit, and that, you know, we know he's an impressive manager and his teams play great. Barring a run of injuries, they have got one of the best squads in world football. I mean, you look at the guys that have been coming off the bench recently, you know, whether it be, you know, Vincent Kompany, and David Silva's even been coming off the bench. He seems to have been...
Mahrez was Player of the Year, wasn't he? 18 months ago, something like that.
Silva's been usurped by Bernardo Silva and Raheem Sterling. We've talked about Raheem Sterling recently and how fantastic he's been. And they're bringing guys off the bench: Leroy Sané, David Silva, Riyad Mahrez, Gabriel Jesus, Vincent Kompany, Nicolas Otamendi. If these guys are all fit, that's a group of players that would walk into every other team potentially in the Champions League, not just in the Premier League. So that, you know, that's giving you an opportunity, but it's still difficult.
Do you think it's going to help him that arguably that he's under less pressure than Jurgen Klopp when it comes to the league title part of that quadruple? He is under less pressure, isn't it? They won it last year. They, you know, all the.
I don't think that comes into it. He doesn't see it that way.
Doesn't.
He's got his pressure comes from himself. So regardless of whether it's the Carabao Cup, he's going to be sat on the bench in the Carabao Cup, and he's going to be as annoyed in the Carabao Cup when things go wrong as he would be in the final of the Champions League. That's just the way the guy is. So I don't think there's more pressure on him or Klopp or anybody else. There's just pressure on City's team because of the way Pep is, I think.
His old teammate and Mal boss at Celtic, Kenny Dalglish, said, and I was telling him recently, he was quoted recently as saying, well, all those people talking about Jurgen Klopp under pressure, then he must be up for an Oscar. Because I don't see it. You know, because he's walking about the training at Melwood and about Anfield as if he's not got a care in the world. Now, I'm sure internally there is some, but he's not exuding that publicly or to his players.
That's key.
But there is a pressure on Liverpool. Of course there is. But there's a pressure on both of them.
The last team who were genuinely in a chase for a quadruple in England were Chelsea in 2007. I remember at that time there was a song that came out that said, billions of rubles don't win you quadruples.
Right. There's another song floating about Chelsea at the moment. It doesn't go like that.
But talking of those rubles, City, you can only get 10 to 1 on them to win the quadruple. If you were a betting man, just as final
I'll put 5.
Would you put
I'll give you my best 5.
It's not long odds to win a quadruple, is it? 10 to 1.
No, and the bookies are never wrong.
Well, it's not long odds because on paper they can beat any team in the world. So it's very hard to come up with a reason why they're not going to win every game. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. We actually play the games. It's not what counts on paper. You've actually got to get it done. And the reason nobody's ever gotten it done is because there's an intangible that falls in. Look at City losing to Wigan in the FA Cup final. I mean,
I was at that game.
I mean, where does that come from? I mean, it's impossible. We won the treble. We won the Champions League, the old First Division. We won the League Cup, and we got beat by a second division team in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Figure that one out.
Brighton.
Yeah. So you never know.
I remember.
I think.
Are they going to do it?
No, I think more realistically they could do a domestic treble, depending on how they in Liverpool go. for the Champions League, all it takes is them to get drawn with a Barcelona and Messi, and Suarez hits form, Messi's having his best 2 games, and they have a bad day. Like, it can happen, then they're out. So that's more likely to happen, I think, than winning. I think domestically, there could potentially be a treble there. Yeah. But I think, you know, to chuck the Champions League in as well, when you're going to be playing against players that I've just mentioned, there's no margin for error. No.
Well, City's chase for history really kicks into gear with the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea. City trying to retain the trophy they won last year on Sunday at Wembley.